It's the U Sports Report, New Mexico. We've got baseball matchups. We've got baseball brawls. We've got playoff matchups, NBA and NHL. We've got young soccer phenoms, awards for Rookie of the Year, everything that you need here on the U Sports Report. Alongside Kimbrey Temple, I am Khalil Ekalona. Tyler Ortega with the College Rundown coming up, and it's the Hot Corner with Mav today. So we're going to get into the salacious, juicy baseball details of what took place on Sunday. Kimbrey, did you have a good weekend?
I did. I had a great weekend, and not so great on Sunday night when San Jose played St. Louis.
San Jose did play St. Louis.
They did, and we'll touch on that later, but that was definitely a difficult night for me.
Sometimes it is a tough night. It was definitely a difficult night for the Miami Heat on Sunday, ladies and gentlemen. They took place in the 7th game of the Eastern Conference quarterfinals, we'll call it. Here we are around the nation, the Miami Heat versus the Toronto Raptors. Game 7, Dwayne Wade taking them on, but the man to look out for was Mr. Kyle Lowry. Look, he was under a lot of fire earlier on in the playoffs and this series, Kimbrey, because he was not really dropping the ball. But now it seemed that he could hit nothing but the bottom of the net.
It was beautiful, and you know, I love seeing these players who go through growths, even in the playoffs. You watch them come from being mediocre or pretty good at what they do to being great, and that's what makes the playoffs and sports in general so exciting.
Exactly. It's that moment for players to step up their game, take it to the next level, impress themselves, impress their teammates, and put the city on their back. And of course, you could see there that Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan had help from all the players. And that's something interesting. I was watching the mothership, and Jalen Rose felt that the Toronto Raptors would win because he said the key is the role players. Role players play better at home than they do on the road, and they just had the role players to do it. And we could see right here, midway through the 3rd quarter, Toronto has a huge lead over the Miami Heat. Dwayne Wade did everything he could to try to keep his team in it, but it was too little, too late. He couldn't put it in. Let's put it this way. Kyle Lowry had more points, almost as many points as Dwayne Wade and Dragic had combined.
And you know, that's what makes this such a great game for Lowry and his team as a whole. You see this growth on an individual level completely accomplish something for an entire team. Exactly.
And an entire city. We know Drake is very happy there in the T-Dot, as they call it, as Toronto wins 116-89. Toronto moves on to play Chicago in Game 1 tonight. I'm sorry, not Chicago, Cleveland. Game 1 tonight. So the question is this: what do you think the chances are of Toronto being able to beat Cleveland to make it to NBA Finals?
You know, I think I'm going to make a lot of people really upset with this, but I believe that Toronto has the energy. They've got a lot of intensity in this season, and in these playoffs, we just talked about it, growth on individual levels. We see a lot of passion for the game, and I'm thinking that you never know with this sport. You never know with any sport, so it'll be exciting to see what they do.
Do you think it goes 7 games?
I don't know. Maybe.
Okay.
I mean, it is the Cleveland Cavaliers.
That's true.
They do have a long-standing history of excellence.
That's true.
So Toronto will not get away with this easily.
No, not at all. It's going to be hard. They're going to have to earn it. Who else has to earn it? Looks like the Golden State Warriors are going to have to earn it, ladies and gentlemen, as they played the Oklahoma City Thunder last night in Game 1. We're going to cut straight to the 4th quarter because, look, this was a game that many people thought was going to be tough, a series that was going to be tough. Oklahoma City Thunder really turning it on, stepping up their level of play against the San Antonio Spurs in the previous round. Many around the league believe that Oklahoma City is playing the best basketball, but we have Golden State Warriors, the winner of 73 games. Steph Curry is back, coming off of his 2nd straight MVP award, and this, Kimbrey, was a shocking outcome.
This was a great game. I feel really good for Oklahoma City, but I still really want Golden State to pull this off. Not just for the Steph Currys, but for his entire team. They put in so much effort in the past couple of years. They built themselves up, and it would be really difficult to lose their momentum now. But Oklahoma City, you said it yourself, has given them a lot to face off with.
They have. Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook went off completely. And it was something interesting because normally the hot shooting, the streaky shooting, but also a great shooting Golden State Warriors team was not able to hit many shots. Here we go. That's a controversial call right there. It looked like he traveled, kind of reminded me of the Chris Webber travel in the NCAA championships against North Carolina all that time ago. But here we have it. Oklahoma City steals game one, 108-102. They lead the series 1-0. Westbrook with 27 points, 12 assists, 6 rebounds, 7 steals. Durant adds 26 and 10. Steph Curry, 26 points, although he was 9 for 22 shooting. Draymond Green with 23, and Mr. Thompson, the other Splash brother, with 25 points. They're going to have to steal one at Oklahoma City to win this series. I think this series is going 7 games, and the winner of this series may, in fact, be hoisting the NBA trophy in about a month.
I could not agree with you more on that. I think that's absolutely going to be how it turns out.
It's going to be something. It's going to be something good. We have some award news in the NBA. Looks like Minnesota forward/center Karl Anthony Towns, the #1 overall pick, won unanimously the Rookie of the Year. This kid, many feel, is the best prospect since LeBron James in the NBA.
You know, I see this kid's highlight reel, and I look at his passion for the game. It's something that you see in a lot of these younger kids coming into pro-level sports, and that's what's going to make pro-level sports so much excitement to watch in the upcoming years. With drive that he has, it'll be good to continue watching him.
It's going to be great to continue watching him. This young man was consistent throughout. 18 points a game, 10.5 rebounds, almost 2 blocks a game, 51 double-doubles. He shot 54% from the line. He's a defender. When they played Golden State Warriors toward the end of the season, a game that Golden State really wanted to win to secure the NBA record for wins, this kid is going out beyond the three-point arc, defending Steph Curry, the MVP. This kid can shoot the three. He can hit his free throws. That gives Minnesota back-to-back Rookie of the Year awards. And the fact that they added Mr. Tom Thibodeau as the coach of that team, look out for the Minnesota Timberwolves to make the playoffs and possibly become the new young dominant team in the NBA. Okay, so we're moving on, much to Kimberly's chagrin, to the NHL playoffs. Yes, the other night we had the San Jose Sharks versus the St. Louis Blues, ladies and gentlemen. This was game 1 of a highly anticipated series. And Kimberly, just what happened to your guys?
You know, I think the Sharks went into this with a lot of confidence, almost getting cocky. We beat the LA Kings, which hasn't happened frequently for the San Jose Sharks. We've made it this far into the playoffs, and I think we took on the Blues thinking this was going to be an easy feat, and San Jose has not put in as much energy in this series so far. But we only have one game. We have another game tonight and another on Thursday. We've got plenty of time to get it back, but we just can't let the Blues have dominance.
You can't let the Blues have dominance, and you can't let the Blues get a grab of your playoff beard, ladies and gentlemen. These guys were going back and forth. You can tell it was a tug-on-tug affair with what they were doing. And here we are. Early St. Louis Blues had the lead, but a goal in the first period ties it up. This was a highly defensive game from what I saw when I was watching it. Both of these teams played well, but it just seemed that St. Louis used the home ice to really dominate. Now, can San Jose really pull it off and steal one on St. Louis's home ice?
You know, I think so, because San Jose, I've read a lot of articles, I've watched a lot of games for San Jose, and I see a lot of defensive power for San Jose, and like you said, this game was a very defensive game. Now, if we continue to have that defense and we continue to give the puck to the right people and continue to keep on the ice and stay on top of St. Louis, we just may win a game on their ice.
Okay, possibly they can win a game on their ice. Maybe they can win the game tonight. Game 2 is tonight to see if they can even up the series. Currently, St. Louis leads 1-0 off of that 2-1 win. Moving on, last night we had a fantastic game going on with Pittsburgh taking on Tampa Bay, an overtime game. Pittsburgh, for as many people who say they want to hate them and how they do, they always give you thrilling playoff games. Most of their games go to overtime, and it's just fantastic to see this team. And personally, I'm a little bit of a fan of Sidney Crosby. I'd like to see him, as he ends his career, leave with the Stanley Cup trophy. This game, Kimberly, was
a beauty.
Yes, it was.
This was, you know, I feel great for Pittsburgh because they've gone into this playoffs, the entire playoffs, with a lot of drive. They want to win. They're playing very passionately. They're putting a lot of effort into every move that they make. They're not letting their opponents get by easily, and they're taking this game into overtime in the playoffs.
Yep.
Against Tampa Bay. you don't see Pittsburgh make it this far very often, but when they do, they make it this far very, very well.
They really do their thing. These guys come up. Here we are in overtime, and there you have the game winner on a nice little wrister above the goalie's shoulder. Pittsburgh wins 3-2. The series is tied 1-1. So they get one on their home ice. They're going to have to steal one game at Tampa Bay in order to win this series. All I can say is this. Looking at how both of these games went, it's going to be a very, very exciting NHL final.
Absolutely. And, you know, I hate to say it, but I think that Pittsburgh might be hosting the Stanley Cup. I think they might win a lot of really great games in this series and in the next. I don't know, as the San Jose Sharks, I would love to see us take the Stanley Cup. I just don't know with Pittsburgh's intensity this year if that's going to be.
Well, everybody in Pittsburgh will be very happy, and the Bay Area might be slightly sad.
Oh, yeah.
Moving on to baseball, or should I say boxing, or should I say MMA, or should I say baseball? That's right, baseball. Look, we know about baseball and their unwritten rules. Here's one unwritten rule going on in baseball. Do not play dirty. You've heard about it. We're going to show you. There it is. Jose Bautista gets plunked by Mr. Bush late in the game, top of the 8th. Texas is up 1 run. This is all retribution for the famous bat flip that took place last year in the playoffs. He didn't like it. They're talking trash to one another. Teams are a little intense. They knew this was coming. It came a little bit late. I'll be discussing that a little bit further on with Matt. And here comes the drama. Nice little play to second. Bautista slides in late. An error on the throw, but there's a melee going on in the middle of the field. The bench is clear, and what's happening? Adrian Beltre is out there trying to hold him back. These guys are going off on one another. Mr. Odor is getting out. Mr. Beltre is really playing great sportsmanship right there, holding another teammate. I wonder if Beltre and Bautista must be close and talk in the offseason. There's the late slide. They get in each other's face, and bam, there he gets rocked, ladies and gentlemen. I will say this, and I'm really not glorifying violence in sports, or particularly violence in baseball. That was the cleanest hit in a baseball game I have ever seen. It trumps the Nolan Ryan-Robin Ventura fight from all those years ago. And these guys were just going at one another. The tensions are flaring. These teams do not like each other at all. I wonder,
No.
Kimberly, if they happen to meet in the playoffs, will it be a similar outcome?
You know, I hope so. And like you said, I'm not glorifying violence in sports, but this is kind of what gets a lot of people who don't watch sports to watch sports.
Yeah.
You want to see what happens and what led to this exciting brawl, and it sure was exciting.
It was very, very exciting, ladies and gentlemen. These guys were just going back and forth on one another. A highly intense game. Texas wins 7-6. Mr. Desmond 2 for 4 with an RBI. Beltre 1 for 4 RBI and a home run. Bautista 1 for 3 RBIs, trying everything he could to help his team win. And Mr. Pilar 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs. So there you have it for the beginning of the show, ladies and gentlemen. We got a whole lot more on that fight coming up. We got the hot corner with Mav. But up next, the college rundown with the Dad Master, Mr. Tyler Ortega, here on the U Sports Report.